Hi everyone out there, this is Golfer Fred. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more on, I did a video on handicap and what do you do, how do you keep track of your handicap, how do you implement your handicap to your scorecard, and what do you do on the golf course, how to make it easy enough where you could just do it and it's done. Well, I've kind of, I believe I did a pretty good job. This would be a scorecard. Let me see if I can look at it here. Okay. This would be a scorecard that someone with a 20 handicap, which would be me. I have a 20.8 handicap, and I always put an X on what tees I'm playing. Okay. Then where it says men's handicap, I always write down my handicap, which is a 20.8. Okay. And then on the very bottom, where it says par, I put handicap par. And I'll get into that a little bit more. I'm trying to get my thing adjusted here. And what you're gonna do is right there where it says handicap par. If you are let me see if I can keep this right on the corner there. Okay. If you are a 20 handicap like I am, you would take a stroke on every hole and 2 extra on the hardest hole and the second hardest hole, which is what I do is I always mark it. I always put a circle. So on that one there, you would notice on the bottom it is a par 5, but because my handicap, I actually get a par 7 on that. So this here where it shows par, right there where it shows par, that doesn't apply to me because of my handicap. Okay, my handicap is on the bottom there. My handicap is actually on the bottom. So going through it, a par 4 would be a par 5, a par 3 would be a par 4, so on and so forth. Now when you get to that number 1, that par 5 is now a par 7 because of your handicap. Okay, and now at the end over there, my par on the front 9 of this course is a par 45. Okay, so how do you implement this? Okay, first off, you go to the bottom and say you shot an 8. Okay, this here was kind of one of my first ways of doing it. So up here I put an 8. Down here I did it the way I would do it. So my par 5, I only put what is over par. So on this one here, I got a par 7. Not par 7, I shot a 7. The next hole was a par 4, so I parred that hole. The next one, I bogeyed. The next one, I birdied. The next, so on and so forth. So at the end of it, as you can see there, whoops, maybe you can't. At the end there, you can see where once I've added plus, I was +1 for my round. So if I get my +1 and I add it to my 45 handicap or my 45 par, it gives me a 46. What's interesting is if you get the top row, if I were to do it traditionally, you would come out to the same score. Now, why would you do this? Well, basically the reason why you would do this is because that is your par. That is what you shoot. So with me being a 20 handicap, I look at it and I'll say, okay, on hole number 1, I can par this. If I happen to shoot it in 4, hey, that's birdie for me. That's birdie for me. The most important thing, it builds your confidence. It builds your confidence, and truly that is what the handicap was intended for. That was the reason why the USGA implemented the handicap rule and why it was established. doc, there's a book out there by Dr. Joe Parent, and it's golf, the mental game, Zen golf, the mental game. You know, handicap is so that way you have an even playing field with other golfers on the course. The hardest problem with that is there's a lot of people out there that you go out and play golf, and either they don't understand golf or the rules of golf, they don't understand how the handicap system actually works. They don't want to understand how the handicap system works, or they're just they're just they're just a jerk. Okay, so you don't want to put yourself in their shoes. You don't want to sit there and say, you know what, this is the way I'm going to do it. You have to do it this and no. You keep your scorecard. I keep my score. At the end of the day, you're playing old man par. Just like Tiger Woods' dad said, you're playing the golf course. You beat the golf course, you beat the other guys. And that is true today as it was when he said it, when everyone else was thinking it. That is truly why the handicap works. Is because that right there is my par. That is what I need to shoot on that course. Okay, you can look in the history books. When golf first started, you didn't have par. It was just how many strokes does it take you to get your ball into the hole. There was no par. Okay, when they started doing pars and stuff like that, that is when the USGA and that was when the USGA and the Euro all came together and decided, okay, we're going to have one set handicap. Their rules were still a little different, but their handicap was still the same. It didn't change. It's saying, okay, Fred, here is your handicap. I can still go out, play with Tiger, okay, and still have a really good chance of beating him under my handicap. Okay, and that's where everyone that wants to get better in golf needs to understand how their handicap works and why they need to really understand why it works. It's because it's there to help you. It's there to help you in the golf course. Now on that course there, not anymore now, but an 8, a 4, but it would discourage me. I would be upset. I would be cursing and stuff like that. So I'm not above anything. I'm a 20 handicap. So I goof up every now and again. But doing it the way that Dr. Joe Parent shows you how to do it, and how it truly ends up the same way. Now, if you get that par, okay, if you get that score, you add it up, it comes out to the same. There is no difference. It comes out to the same. You now are just implementing your handicap per hole as you play. So now that par 4, 390 some yards, now instead of looking at it as a par 4, you're looking at it as a par 5. So now you can par. Okay? You can par under your handicap. And you gotta, I'm trying to make sure that every beginner golfer understands that it is par for you. You don't have to go out there and make everyone understand how to do it. It's not your job. A lot of times I would go out there, and there's a lot of times I would play by myself or go as a single and group up with other people, and it's never been an issue. No one's ever brought it up. No one's ever, a lot of guys would ask me about it, and I would say, oh no, look at this is here's my par. This is how I do it. This is par for me. And it's kind of weird because a lot of them would be like, what? And yeah, you can go get your handicap. I got mine at Roger Dunn's. I won it in a raffle, and it's $75 or $69. Came with a dozen Bridgestones, some free rounds of golf, different places. So truly, I paid about $40 for it, maybe a little less. But it's something that now I would have all the time. I would renew it every single year. It wouldn't even be it wouldn't even be an afterthought, because I understand where I'm at, okay, in it. The other thing is to make sure on your scorecard is read the back. The back has so much information, so much useful information, because I'm in Southern California, so I go into a lot of country clubs, and each country club is different. Each one has their own set of rules, and even in the USGA handbook, which you can get for free at any golf course. If you go to a golf course that you go to quite a bit, you can just go up there and, hey Steve, do you happen to have an extra USGA handbook? And a lot of times they'll give it to you. I got mine free. I didn't have to pay for mine. But that's something that's useful, because a lot of places will say, okay, well, we have a local golf course at Cimarron, okay, and they play, it's kind of like in the desert area. So in their rule, in their book, okay, they show that if you hit your ball outside into kind of like the desert area that's out there, you can pick it up, bring it in, drop it one club length, no closer to the hole, all that, and it's not a stroke penalty, okay? Where if you played your ball unplayable, or you picked it up and you brought it in, you would be playing three. Yeah, you would be playing three there, or you would just hit it from your spot. But because of the rule that the local golf course has, you can play it inside there. Okay, you can play it inside there. You can pick it up and bring it in under a no-stroke penalty. Now, mind you, you do have to find your ball first. So in that situation, you do have to find your ball. I would probably recommend hit a provisional just in case, and you would be hitting 4 from there, time and distance, because you would have to hit 1 there, and you'll be hitting 3 back there at the tee box and then coming up. So, but that's how your handicap works right there. And remember, it's your handicap, and you can establish your handicap. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay. You can establish your handicap on your own. The only thing is, you would have to kind of keep track of it. And there's a couple different websites that can do that for you. I'm not sure about how accurate they are. Usually you got to create a username, email address, all that, all that. But again, for $40, truly in the end, it's not a bad deal. I would recommend, if you know you're going to go over there and buy golf balls, I would do it then, because that's $20 if you use Bridgestones, like an E6 or something, because I think that's what it came with. I'm pretty sure that's what it came with. That's $20 you're going to put out either way. It wouldn't have mattered. So here now, instead of doing that, when you get this, and it takes about a week or so before you get it, and it gives you, I think it's sent through your email, and there's a little card that it gives you. I don't have it with me. There's a little card that it gives you that says that you're a USGA member, and there's a lot of golf courses out there. If you just bring it up, say, here's my card, USGA tells me to just present it, and there's sometimes they'll give you $4, $5, $6. I've gotten up to $20 at like a PGA West or something like that. So but again, that's what I do. Okay, first I mark what tees I'm playing, then I go down where the handicap is, men's handicap, put 20.8 because that's my handicap, put my name, where the par is, I put HC for handicap par, which is par for me. I fill that in, and then I just kind of go about my way. Now, I don't use this part up here no more, because I've gotten where I can do this now without even thinking about it. First few rounds I was kind of like, wait a minute, if I put this here, put that there, you know, blah, blah, blah. So now I don't need that. And on the very bottom it shows like where I showed a 2, 3, where I did bogeys 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there I was +4, but because of those birdies I can take 3 of those off. That's how I ended up with that +1. So +1 added to that 45 par ends up with a 46. So it's the same thing. Okay, it's identical, same thing. So, and that's where it helps. That's where it helps you out. So again, my name is Golfer Fred. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to, you know, put a message down there on the bottom. And I hope the video helped you out. If it didn't, please, you know, again, let me know, and I can see if I can clear it up for you. Okay, bye.